I'm sure many of us know by now how important the ocean is to our livelihood, but what I've recently learned is a lot of people don't know just who's responsible for a large portion of the destruction that occurs in this ecosystem. I recently watched a documentary and it really opened my eyes to how big and devastating the fishing industry impacts our oceans and the ecosystem within it. Now, the fishing industry is nothing new at all. It is actually one of the oldest and largest industries in the world. And just to give you an idea on how big, according to IBIS World in 2018, the fishing industry generated $271.6 billion. That number is projected to reach $376.5 billion by the year 2025. According to Allied Market Research, 9.7 billion of that is attributed to the US alone. Now, in recent years, there has been an increased demand for seafood. And because of this, the industry has been prompted to continue to implement methods that would maximize their yield. These methods most of the time include nets, like purseine, trawling, and dredging. And according to the Sustainable Fisheries, dredging refers to a dredge being dragged across the ocean floor to scrape up sea animals at the bottom. Now, these techniques focus on catching as much fish as possible, but like I said, they don't necessarily prioritize sustainability. And because of this, they cause many problems. One of the main issues being overfishing. And overfishing happens when fish is depleted quicker than they can replenish. Now, when this happens, it leads to underpopulation, which directly disrupts the marine ecosystem. According to the Marine Conservation Institute, 90% of the fish population is either overfished or nearly there. Trawl nets, for example, lead to overfishing simply because of their vast size and the large amount of space that they cover. Another issue is bycatch. Now, bycatch is when a marine animal is unintentionally caught in the pursuit of another targeted animal. So these large nets go through the ocean, picking up everything in its path, and any animals that weren't supposed to be caught or were not planned on being caught are thrown back into the ocean, either dead or dying. And according to Sentient Media, it is estimated that there is an average of 63 billion pounds of bycatch a year. That's devastating. These are animals that were unintentionally caught and thrown back into the ocean to die. 63 billion pounds a year. One of the last issues I want to talk about is climate change. The ocean has a lot to do with regulating the temperature of the earth, and it produces 50% of our oxygen. Yes, we get it from trees and all this and that, but the ocean is responsible for 50% of our oxygen. Now, climate change is negatively impacted by the severe fishing practices of the fishing industry, and the UN estimates that up to 95% of ocean damage is the direct outcome of bottom trawling. This is taking large nets and simply dragging them across the ocean floor. 95% of the ocean damage is a direct outcome of this. And additionally, the dredges and trawls used to scrape the bottom of the ocean destroy important marine life that are literally the foundation of the ecosystem. And experts the Food Empowerment Project, the experts at the Food Empowerment Project predict that we could have fishless oceans by the year 2048. Now, these fishing practices disrupt the ocean in more ways than one. And as the popularity for fish has grown, so too has the demand. Now, the fishing industry is responsible for supplying this demand, yet the practices have been anything but sustainable. Innovations over the years has encouraged the industry to look for ways to catch the most fish with the least hassle. And as you can see, the techniques used by the massive industry is the cause of a substantial loss of marine life. It affects climate change, and bycatch alone is devastating. The ocean is the foundation of life as we know it, and the fishing industry is the leading cause of its decline due to the nets that's used and the way that they use it and the lack of sustainability.